Have you ever passed the gas and sat there and took a deep, indulging whiff of that beautiful stink cloud? Oh my God. I can't believe we're doing this, but we're doing it. We're going to be talking about Fartcoin today. So get ready for the toilet humor because we're going to dive into it, and we're going to dive into it deep. And stick around towards the end. We're going to do some technical analysis on this, and I found some pretty interesting setups. So we're going to take a look at it. We're going to start it off, as always, for Fartcoin, the fart protocol of the future. We're going to kick it right off with the narrative and vision. And we'll start off with their website, which was actually a little bit lacking in terms of fart memes, which I was kind of upset about. But I enjoy the professionalism that they're trying to spin on such a useless token. They're very upfront about it. You can see down here, it says, Fartcoin is a meme coin with no intrinsic value or financial return expectation. This token exists purely for entertainment purposes. I'm happy about that. They are not lying to you about any utility or any promises. It is straightforward. It is a fart coin, and it's a culture coin at the root of it. The brand is juvenile on purpose. The site literally tells you it's for laughs and not cash flows. That's honestly, it's kind of oddly bullish in meme land because it narrows the promises gap and focuses on the community and the virality of the token. You can see on their X profile, they do get decent engagement. They have 86,000 followers, and there's about 163,000 holders of this thing. So it's not utility, it's an attention and distribution type of token. The meme equity is high. There is a clear identity, even though it's based around flatulence, I guess. And now it's a recognizable Solana meme ticker. I mean, this thing is 101 overall on CoinMarketCap, which is ridiculous. For that reason, I gave it a good score for narrative and vision, gave it a 12 out of 20. And we can move on to the tokenomics and supply of this thing. So there's 1 billion Fartcoin circulating. There are contract safety flags. So minting and freezing authority has been disabled on the trading pair. There is an LP lock of 99.73%. The pool age is about 10 months, which is really solid for a meme token. I did the rug check on Fartcoin and everything looks really good. So I wouldn't be too worried about this if you're trying to trade this or invest in Fartcoin for the long term. I think the only risk that I wanted to call out here is concentration risk, right? Because the largest wallet holds almost 10% of the supply. So it's not catastrophic, but it's still non-trivial in terms of whale overhang. So you need to watch the top 10 for distribution for this thing and keep that in the back of your mind. So for tokenomics and supply, I gave it another solid score, 13 out of 20. And we can move on to the tech and execution. Again, there's no white paper here. There's no roadmap. This is community driven. It's an SPL token. It's standard on Solana. There's no fancy protocols. There's no staking machines. The website, as you can see, is super minimal, which I like. There's no documentation. There's no audits. The execution here is basically listing, liquidity, bots, and brand maintenance. So you can see they're currently on CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, Axiom. They're in a bunch of markets. I think the real launch pad for them is just getting on as many exchanges as possible and continuing the meme narrative, whatever that is, and making it fun. For that reason, for tech and execution, I couldn't give them too high of a score because they don't really do anything, but that's the point, that they don't really do anything. 10 out of 20 for tech and execution. And we can move on to the market structure and liquidity. And this is where it really shined, because if you look at the markets themselves, the volume is split across many exchanges, which is good. The volume is super good, 70 million versus a 743 million market cap. I mean, at one point, this was $1 billion market cap token, which just goes to show you how insane crypto is, that a fart coin can go up to $1 billion in market cap. There's a ton of centralized and decentralized exchange access to this thing, and the all-time high drawdowns were pretty rough, but we'll get into the technical analysis in a second. So for market structure and liquidity, I gave it a 17 out of 20. This has liquidity wherever you would want it. I don't see any issues with Fartcoin on that basis. There is also a broad holder base. Again, as I mentioned, there's over 150,000 holders. So let's move on to the last section of exit risk and VC stakes. There's no VC for this. Let's just put that out there. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. The Coinbase exposure here does cut retail friction in terms of access to Fartcoin. That's really bullish. But on the flip side of that coin, it does add sell pressure when this thing does pump. So take that with a grain of salt. Whales do exist for Fartcoin, so also keep that in mind. However, the retail rails are wide for this thing. So exit risk and VC stakes, I'll give it a 9 out of 20. And that's just because there is a decent percentage of wallets holding a large percentage of the token, something that you have to watch out for. So that gives us a final score, 61 out of 100. This is a high risk, high reward, as is usually the case with meme coins. But let's take a look at the chart, because I spent some time doing some technical analysis on this bad boy. And Fartcoin currently doesn't look great. You can see where the price is currently at about 76 cents. This chart is from last year, so October 2024. So we have a decent amount of price action to go off of. This is the 4-day chart. And what stuck out to me was after their original pump, which was your basic sort of 5-wave impulse, if you look at Elliott wave theory, it retraced all the way back down to this sort of initial bottom. And now it's found some life again, but it is stuck in this expanding wedge. There is a fair value gap down here around 55 to 70 cents. And given the current price action, I wouldn't be too surprised if it did test this at some point and fill out those inefficiencies. However, if this does bounce here, I could definitely see a retrace to somewhere north of $1.50. So my two kind of forecasts for this would be either this fails and we come back down and kind of build a base and then maybe go higher, or this does bounce here, fills in this fair value gap, which was partially filled, and then comes back sort of to the top of the range here. Those would be my two expectations. If it completely nukes, you're looking at something like this, where it fills in this gap and then it just continues to go lower until it sort of retests this original base. That would be the catastrophic outcome, but I don't think it looks too bad. Obviously, there's a lot of liquidity sitting up around this zone. These people are bag holding and they will want to exit as soon as the price sort of retraces or retests that again. So this is the zone that price really has to push through and get new people in order to attempt going back to the highs, the all-time highs for Fartcoin. Otherwise, it's on my watch list. I think the chart looks super interesting and it could have a run, especially if alt season really does begin. This thing could fly. Whether or not that happens, that's to be seen. So I'm keeping an eye on it. As always, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown of Fartcoin. If you made it this far with me, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'm not even going to ask you for it. You know what to do. I drop these 2 or 3 times a week. If you have a coin that you want me to review, drop me a comment or shoot me a DM on Twitter. That's it for Fartcoin. Have a great day out there, and I will see you next time.